Okay, with the hot weather coming in, as you can see, it's nice and sunny now. Need to get the air conditioning fixed on the Range Rover. Now, the aircon never worked from the day I bought it, and it didn't really bother me, it wasn't that important. However, with it now being my primary vehicle, because that horrendous beast has given up the ghost, we got to get this car in full working order. And being as hot as it is now, it'd be nice to get it solved. So I already determined that I got a leak, and not long after I bought it, I took it for a recharge just to see if that would be if that had sorted out. But the guy who tried to recharge it said it wouldn't hold pressure, so that's why I knew it had a leak. So I've tracked down the leak. I know the leak is in the condenser at the front, which is dead common anyway. You'll find if you have a leak, the highest chance is that it's in the condenser, because it gets hit by debris and things as you're driving all the time, and they're more prone to getting leaks. So that's where the leak is. There's more than one leak on it. We're going to replace the condenser, get it all charged up, and we're going to see if it blows cold. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get the grill off, and then we're going to try and get this slam panel off the front of the car here, see if we can gain access to get right down. You'll be able to see, once I get the grill off, you'll be able to see the condenser where it is anyway. So let's do that now. Okay, so at this point, what I'm trying to do is get into... I've taken these two bolts out, which bolt in the high and the low side of the AC lines, and these come through to the condenser here. And that's this thing you see running across the top there. The small thing you see in front of it just down there is the oil cooler, I think. So what we're trying to do is loosen this plastic thing here, which is going to allow us to slide it out, but also need to try and work this free. And the bolt right at the bottom, I don't know if you can see that it keeps it connected to this plastic thing, that doesn't want to turn, and it seems like the bolt is rounding as I'm trying to turn it off. However, it is only clipping this block, which is going to get thrown away once I get it out, to this plastic, so I could just snap that off, to be honest. It shouldn't be a massive issue as far as I can see. That's what I'm trying to do, really, just see if we can get the this unit out. And then the new one that I've got doesn't quite fit exactly, but we're going to see if we can make it fit, because I've already bought it, so let's try and make it work. So the most irritating part of this job, apart from faffing around with all these bits of plastic, is that this won't come free, the condenser won't become free, unless... Can you see that little bolt just down there? There, if I point my finger, that is an 8mm bolt that's just clipping it to the plastic shroud around the front of the radiator and everything. And if you'll notice from its depth, there's the top of the bumper, you can't get in there very easily to do it. So I'm having to go in with a tiny little spanner like this. Ratchet spanners would be ideal in this instance, but I haven't got one this small, so there you go. And it's out. This point took a bit of getting to. Here's the old one. A lot of bending, snapping and ruining to get the old one out. It really is not a job I would recommend taking on, if I'm honest with you. Not as simple as it appears in some of the write-ups I've seen. Anyway, now we know that this is not exactly the right shape. Now I'm hoping the ports are going to screw in nicely, because they do look similar. It's ever so slightly longer, as you can see there. However, the receiver dryer is like that on that one, whereas mine is uniform. So actually the total length of the whole thing is only a tiny bit longer. See, like another 2 centimeters maybe. And this is all just plastic around the edges. So I propose to either break these bits of plastic off to get it in. Not sure really. I'll just offer it up and see how well it fits in. There's so much crap in the way. By crap I mean plastic bloody brackets, trims, things in the way. Metal brackets here for holding the coolant reservoir. This little strut here for holding the slum panel and everything, and it all just makes inserting this thing in and getting the actual little connection manifold in the right place an absolute nightmare. Ugh. Okay, so yesterday the AC condenser got replaced. I will show you some of those you've probably seen in the video, but it was a bit of a bodge and nothing I'm proud of. It's in there and I think it's probably airtight. That's what we're going to find out now. We're going to pull a vacuum on the system for about 45 minutes to an hour, and that's going to make sure any moisture that's in the system is gone. It's also going to tell me whether we're airtight or not. So let's do it. Okay, so to do it this part, you're going to need a vacuum pump and a little manifold gauge set, which is for aircon recharging. To be honest, this stuff isn't as expensive as you might think, and I'm not advising everyone to go out and start messing with the aircon because you really ought to have an idea what you're doing, but I'm just showing you how it's doable at home and it's not rocket science. Right, so you have one port here, which is for the low side, another port down here, which is for the high side. Now you can't mix them up because the quick connects on the end are different sizes. Can you see that there? The connector for the high side has got the bigger connector, and the connector for the low side has a smaller connector. So you can't get them wrong. You only refill on the low side, but we're not refilling just first. First we're going to connect this and open both sides up and pull a vacuum on the system and see if we can get all the moisture out of the system, because there'll be a load in. Obviously it was all exposed to the atmosphere yesterday when I replaced the condenser inside here. So let's do that now. Make sure both sides are closed off. Let's remove the caps. One, two. Right. High side connected. Low side connected. Here's our vacuum pump. If I turn it this way, you'll be able to see a little easier. This here is our port for connecting. Right. All of these only have to be finger tight. You don't need to use spanners on any of these connections. Just make sure these are tight. There we go. Tighten that a bit. Tighten that. Tighten that. Right. Don't know whether I can hook it where you can see it or not. There we go. Let's pull a vacuum on this system now. What he's done is open up both high and low side, and it's now pulling everything out of the system. And I won't leave it recording for long. I'm going to keep doing this for about an hour. Okay. I'm going to close these off. It's been a bit rainy and I think it's just starting to rain on me again. And close these off and turn off the compressor. Oh, there we go, it's raining. I might just disappear inside for a little bit. Okay, now this tells you here how much refrigerant you need to put in. So there seems to be a bigger and a smaller version of the system. So let's go off the smaller version to start with, 750 grams. This isn't exactly L322 A. It's a similar thing, so it has the equivalent of 453 in, so we're going to need to put a little bit more than one can of this in, probably 1.5 cans, something like that. Okay, so with these little cans, which you can buy online, basically you screw on your adapter onto the top with the winder wound out, because there's a pin in it. Once you wind it in, the pin will pierce the top of the can, but it will be closed, and then you wind it back out to release the refrigerant into the system. So let's do that now. Try and ignore the fact it's been chucking it down with rain, which isn't good for moisture. However, it's been holding a very nice vacuum, I think, for some time. So let's attach that on. Now we're going to wind this pin down. It's going to pierce the can. There, so the can is now sort of pierced, but it's not flowing yet. I have to wind this back out to release the refrigerant up here. But we want to purge this line. I don't know if I can just hang this back up again, see if you can see. This line here has got air in it at the moment, which is no good at all. So these are both still closed off. What we're going to do is keep that closed down. We're going to undo this so that this line fills with refrigerant. Okay, that's open now, so this line is full. Here we go. Right, now keep the high side closed, and now we can fill, but I need to start the engine first. I'm going to fill on the low side. Now we need the car to be running because we need the compressor to be able to click on. So we're going to start the car. We're going to turn the aircon to the coldest settings. I'm going to put it just onto the lowest fan, and we're going to make sure that it wants to come on. Now it won't come on at the moment because there's no pressure in the system, but we'll see the gauges flick once the pressure increases and the compressor starts to run. Hopefully, that's the plan. So we'll leave the car running. Line is now full of refrigerant again. Okay. Generally in this car. Okay. What if I point at the vent? 8.6 degrees. I'd say it's pretty good. Woof! Good. I think we'll leave it there. Call that a successful job.